Flipside don't.
Yeah, Flipside, the trail through this is pretty much done. I guess it's avoiding the lowest spots possible for them more than anything. You know, that's the big thing, and map record doesn't tell you the full story here. NaVi will pick this map and go into it against Tier 1, the very best teams, and still come out with a very good result. Even though highly played by Flipside, it's maybe not quite to the same caliber. Still a very good map for them, but as we said, it would take the very best performance from Flipside to beat a possibly mildly off-performance NaVi here. It takes a lot for these two to even out on this one. Again, it's such a good stronghold here for NaVi. So yeah, not going to be an easy one, but you know, it could be good to see how close they can get here again. NaVi still have their big game coming up next, so you want to see them all on point. You want to see them starting to warm up towards that as well, because they need that to secure their place towards those finals. So yeah, a lot to be seen, and you know, Flipside didn't put in a bad performance. Well did it, you know, coming into his own a little there on train as well. Good to see, but maybe not quite to the NaVi level.
No. Yeah, well, that's what we saw. There's only so much that you can do if only one guy is really hitting a lot of shots. Unfortunately, Markaloff was nowhere to be seen on the map. I think he ended with like 13. You know, it's just you had World Edit, who was basically like doubling the runner-up on his team as far as frags are concerned. And when that's happening, it's really, really rough to close out a game versus a team of NaVi's caliber, where not only are you going to have Guardian you can count on, Flamey also turned up in a big way for the team, Seized, Edward, everybody had their moments. Zeus was making some questionable plays, but I mean, you know, it was just Zeus. Everybody else seemed to be doing pretty good for NaVi. So, yeah, I mean, Flipside now, they kind of just need to reset and say, all right, we don't want to be, you know, doomed into relegation completely, so let's figure out how to actually beat these guys. We've done it in the past. Yeah,
it's not impossible. It's just highly unlikely. I think it's the best way to put it. So we'll see what we have coming into this. NaVi's going to be heading up on the T side to begin with, and we've got Flipside on the CT side. 4 players over towards B to start with for Flipside, and well done. It's got 3 players staring him down over by pretty much mid here. Zeus, Guardian, Edward, all trying to get a little bit of a connection. Markaloff already up on towards the platform, and quite an active start here for Flipside actually. Kind of getting into some more aggressive positions, but already NaVi starting to build up towards A as well.
Oh, just thinking Seized. He's kind of caught now. Markaloff and Shara, they've got a pretty solid angle on him. Flamey is lurking around in the corner. We should have a rotation coming out from NaVi to help Seized out, because he's basically calling to his teammates right now. Hey guys, I have the only smoke. Kind of need to get that out at some point. So maybe if you could, you know, make your way through halls, maybe, you know, cause a bit of a distraction over here to allow me to get out of dodge, maybe allow Flamey to get into the fight as well. That'd be real sweet. That'd be really nice of you guys.
Well, yeah, Flamey's the big one here in theory, isn't he? He's one with the Tech 9, he's got the armor, he's waiting so patiently to jump off on this, considering they've been spotted out as well, and now he shows his hand. Now he goes chasing, but took a little bit of time to take down Markaloff, but Guardian did in the end. Now Flamey's been let loose, but doesn't get as much damage as maybe he'd want to, but he still does enough. There's only 2 players left for Flipside. They're being outnumbered, outgunned, and while the last man alive, Seized is pretty low, but Seized is not showing himself. They're probably going to slowly work through drop if required, but leaving it to the 2 boys from NaVi on the site to try and close it out, which they do exactly just that.
Yep, perfectly done. Flamey throws himself in first. He had the Tech 9 Kevlar. He was the raid boss. Edward is able to pick up that Tech 9 afterwards and just keep the pressure up. And that couldn't have gone better for NaVi. Because Flipside, they stuck on those angles. Seized is saying, okay, guys, they're still around. And eventually, all of NaVi just peak together as a unit. And when that kind of thing happens, unless you just get, you know, hit God-tier headshots for Flipside, you're going to get overrun. So very well done there by NaVi. That's exactly how it was supposed to pan out for them in that pistol round. They get 4 rifles. Wow, they actually go up to 4 rifles. They don't even waste any time. I was definitely expecting another SMG here in the mix.
Yeah, only Seized pick up the SMG, and he's looking towards drop, so pretty going to molly off one side, nade out towards just underneath him. There's 1 player by window, but going back to Edward, he's the one leering forward towards the platform, catches Shara as he does try and hop up towards the box, catches someone off guard, doesn't manage it, but Botic at least did find 1, but again, actually, that being a rifle, all of these kills are going to be costly, excluding 1 towards Seized, which would probably be more expected. And, okay, Blade finds Edward. These are pretty impressive kills. Going in 1 by 1 is not working out for NaVi here.
No, it certainly isn't. It drops the bomb on Plateau as well, and I'm at a loss for words. Just, you know, bang your head into the keyboard now at this point. It'll probably go better for you, NaVi. I mean, hopefully, there we go. Good bait from Seized, but he takes a lot of damage in the process. Guardian is going to get somehow find a double kill. So we're back into a 1v1, and it's all on the element of surprise here for Seized. World Edit has actually got a rifle to work with now. Only problem is that World Edit knows where he's coming from, so you can see him just kind of closing out this angle. He knows that Seized has to come to that bomb eventually, and so World Edit, he's playing it very well. It's going to be so hard for Seized to actually catch this guy out at this point.
World Edit has no armor, though. There's a small silver lining, but it's very, very thin. 30 seconds and Seized
maybe there was like
guess.
it's like a 70-30 for Seized until it got to this point where World Edit now has the angle on him. Now it's definitely like this should be 100% for World Edit. Seized being so low, it shouldn't be possible for him to pull this off. Yep, very nicely done, perfectly played by World Edit.
Smart stuff from him, considering they only started out with Deagle. You know, there was very little. I don't think there was any armor. Or if any, very minimal armor invested from Flipside into that round is very impressive. They turned it, considering the heavy investment from NaVi into the 4 rifles, 1 SMG. And even you said you were kind of surprised seeing that they didn't maybe get maybe 1 more SMG coming out, you know, like a little something extra, but no, went on the full rifle and they get reset. So back to 1-1.
A full rifle is fine if you guys go out together. If you know, set up the smoke properly and then walk out together so that, you know, they aren't able to just pick you off at will one after another. So yeah, definitely some weird play coming out from NaVi. I'm glad that they got punished for that because, you know, that was just very well done by Flipside, taking advantage of NaVi, giving them duels.
And that gun's pretty close to recoverable. If they can start dominating through mid as well, you can see Bondix having to pull himself over to support World Edit here because otherwise they're in a bit of a pickle. But actually the pinch isn't working out too badly either for NaVi. They've got Seized working his way through, cutting off Markelov. Now these 2 players are relatively surrounded. Sure, the weaponry isn't great for NaVi, but they can do some work. And there you go, finally comes in. Now NaVi are actually down to only 1. But it is Seized, and he was the one who made himself noted by drop. Now Markelov classically playing over by that kind of, I guess, plateau area on B. They could make a good assumption as to where he is, but Seized still cautious, has a minute to work with. He's got a lot of time to play with here.
Yeah. Minute is plenty of time, and that's exactly what Markelov is thinking at this point. He's like, okay, now I got to just play this slow, wait in connector, and just wait for that bomb plant to happen. He's taking a very passive angle here, so if Seized does walk out into the open, he's going to spot him, but otherwise, it should be a pretty solid situation here for Seized. Because he still has some time, 35 seconds. I mean, he's slow walking all over the place. And because he's given up control of this part of the map when he moved out to top mid, now he has to worry about these angles being covered by Markelov again. So you can see him wasting a lot of time having to worry about all the little cheeky spots that Markelov could be hiding in. Eventually, though, he is just going to have to make that run. And this isn't an easy shot for Markelov to hit. Unless he just crouches right into it. So there you go. Markelov, congrats.
Yeah, the slow crouch, probably not ideal. But again, these rounds are pretty costly, so the economy's not going to be super robust for either side, especially a little bit heavier on the NaVi team, of course, after losing out on picking up the clean first 3, pretty much for them. So it's going to be the Tech 9 run for a little while. We've got Edward going in on the rifle, I guess, trying to keep that economy as even as possible at this point.
Dropped by Seized.
Oh, okay. So he's still over 1.3k.
And they're just still going for the Force. So Edward with the sole AK to work with here for NaVi. They go for the Force buy, full all out. Just not willing to let Flipside run this further. The only problem is this is a huge risk for NaVi. They need to get a bomb plant, basically, and they've been struggling in the past couple of rounds to get that bomb plant down. So they're a little bit, they're probably just feeling the heat as far as the money is concerned. The only problem is if they don't get a bomb plant in this round, you know, they're really going to be hurting in the next one. It's going to be another round for Flipside. It's just another feel-good moment.
NaVi doing somewhat of a similar play here. Whether or not it kind of accumulates to the same thing, we're yet to see, but already Edward finding World Edit is going to weaken the bond, the hold towards that A site. Now, Blade's kind of not surrounded yet, but you start getting hesitant as to how far up Zeus or Edward's actually managed to get, and he's going to have to try and keep that in mind, fall back a little towards the site, position himself in a safer spot, and actually Fancy's a little bit of a go back at this. He's playing very close by to 3, maybe 4 players, and already Seized finding Bondic hasn't made this any easier. Now Blade needs to land these shots and land them cleanly. 4 bullets left. He doesn't have much more to play with, and there we go. Edward's going to punish him. Bring it back down just to 2 for Flipside here. Shara and Markelov kind of left out in the open. Markelov still doing damage from that same spot. Finds another. Edward falls. We're down to a 2v2. NaVi, what are you doing with this round?
Yeah, they're all over the place. You have to admire Flipside just not rotating at all. They're taking all their sweet time. Seized his lurk is going to be very difficult to pull off now because Shara's got the angle on him. Shara, he's going to be able to rotate around. They are managing to stack up together, but Shara's in position and Markelov takes the peek to catch out Seized as well. So great recovery from Flipside. I mean, that was a sick opening coming in from Edward to start. And with Zeus, you know, taking the fight straight up with Blade, managing to get that return as well. I mean, that was all over the place. But yeah, this is around now. This is what happens where NaVi, are they going to keep forcing into it? Because they keep dropping Flipside low on money. That's the whole reason why NaVi are forcing. The only problem is, you know, eventually you kind of want to get Guardian on that op, and with the force buys, it's not going to happen.
And it's just insane that these 2 players are able to kind of define this round back to their favor. Of course, NaVi were a little worse for it. They didn't have the perfect buy into this or, you know, much to work with, but they had enough to be able to pull something off here. But in a 4v2, players like Markelov really do start to shine. You said it perfectly. It was how well they're playing in these situations and not over-rotating, not just over-committing, and knowing that they have an advantage and making something of it. So again, Markov having a stellar round then. It's put Flipside in a good position for now. Their economy's not solid, as you said. You know, these rounds are close. They're getting close to it. But then again, NaVi aren't getting that many bomb plants. They're not having that much success at this point. There's still a lot more to be seen, hopefully, from NaVi and that sort of side of things. And apparently we are just having a little bit of a TeamSpeak issue with NaVi, so they'll be just sorting themselves out, I can imagine, pretty quickly. It shouldn't take too long. But yeah, as you said, it's time to see when they just bite the bullet and take that clean eco, because they need to stop forcing soon enough, because the rounds will start, yeah.
Has to be now.
There's not much
yeah, okay, Edward has some money, but you know, as far as the rest of them are concerned, they're all sub 3,000.
Yeah. So
it'll mean another round of Tech 9s, etc. I mean, Seized could maybe drop the AK again, but yeah, finally they decided to take the hit here, Guardian. Because Edward buying the AK Kevlar isn't the end of the world. He's still on 900. He might have to go for a Tech 9 in the next round or something, but that's all right because he had that bonus money. So you invest 4,000 in this round. The rest of his teammates all going to float around that 2,000 mark. So after losing, what, 3 rounds in a row, soon to be 4.
Yep.
Well, soon to be 4. They could always win this round, but I mean, assuming they get the bomb plant down, they lose this round, they should have a healthy bye, and they can finally start getting into this fight in a meaningful way.
Yeah, it's a matter of resetting this one, and let's see what they go for here. Edward's the key player, at least in my eyes, seeing what he can achieve. Being the only man with the rifle, there's a lot of pressure on towards him. He's been playing up towards A-Long a lot of the time. Blade and World Edit are both there. Blade going in towards danger a little more. Actually going to go for the boost up here, so this could work out really well for World Edit if he gets the timing right on this, considering only 2 players for NaVi have the armor. He could do a lot of work from this spot. He's definitely going to get the information. If they don't check this instantly, he can do some serious work here, and the rest of Flipside can just chill out and wait for this.
Exactly. Oh, look at this. Ah, nobody's checking him. Unreal. This is an angle that you have to check. How has nobody gone for the jump? That's become standard to just go for that jump.
And
There's the first, and he's going to spot Zeus. He gets the kill on Zeus. No? Yes. Okay, he eventually does. And that should be fine because Blade is still here to hold the line, and the rotation is coming in hard from his mates as well. Blade got all the info, so they're rotating hard off that B site. And now, well, NaVi, what are they going to be able to achieve here?
Well, Flamey's the linchpin. He could have maybe found something, being kind of in a bit of a curious like lurk spot, but I'm not going to find anything. He peeks through at the wrong time, so I'm already holding the angle. So really, all in all, NaVi are going to have to fight themselves out of this situation pretty much with having no luck in. Flipside holding every single angle needed, and there you go. Closed down by Bondic in the end, and a great play. A little bit of, you know, time taking out Zeus then, maybe more than he'd wanted. But they'd seen the bomb by that point. They got all the info. They saw them trying to set up with what they had, and that was just punishing. So we are going to have the buy coming up for NaVi. They're going to be perfectly well set here. Maybe not ideal, not as many mollies, you know, not everything they want, but enough they can go by. And no AWP for Guardian yet.
Yeah, he could have gone glass cannon, but he decides to go for the nades instead. Or the single flash grenade, so all right then. But we'll see. NaVi just taking all points, going to a default setup now. Just willing to go back to basics. That's all they're thinking at this point. Go back to basics. Let's go back to what works. Take our time with it. Use the clock. I mean, Flipside are not pushing aggressively anywhere this time around. They did put up, I believe that's World Edit over on A-Long, so he is holding close, but this is as far up as they are right now, as they're willing to go, it seems, unless he eventually gets impatient and decides to push. Blade is rotating back to help him out, so Flipside are going back to what's worked for them so far, which is aggression on A-Long.
Edward's the one who's going to be stepping towards it if anyone does. All the others are working through mid, so you've got 4 players from NaVi heading straight up. They could power straight through, actually. If they've read Flipside well enough, we know that they do like to go fairly aggressive at long, but not working too quickly means that now actually Blade's fallen back. So now NaVi are going to try and get some presence here, try and start working through it. Well, they can cut off Edward. That's going to be a problem. And actually the SMG comes up with the goods. Blade finds Zeus, but it's not done just yet. NaVi still have steps towards the site. Markov's quick on the rotate, but he doesn't want to go in alone. He doesn't want to feed kills away here, and it's exactly what he's going to do, though. Guardian punishes him for it. And sure, the rotate's coming in, but that bomb's planted. You've got 3 players still standing for NaVi.
Yeah, and Seized. It was ugly, but he won the fight that counted there, that mattered most. Because now it's going to be Bondic. He's going to spot out that lurk from Bondic. He was already on 5 HP, so that's fine. It's more important that his teammates have the information that somebody is coming from mid or from A-Long. So they're going to be able to set up appropriately here, NaVi. Shara has got Guardian boxed in, and Guardian has no idea, so he's watching balcony. He's not going to turn in time. He hears the footsteps, and Flamey going to fall as well. Crazy clutch coming in from Shara. Getting all 2 kills, well, all the 2 kills, obviously, but make it sound like it's a lot, but it is, because it was the clutch. It was an important round. And Flipside, right now, they're powering through NaVi.
Yeah, and their money's starting to look better and better. Now they're starting to stabilize. Now they're starting to build up the money over time. They've got people sitting on 6K now, but on the other side of things, we do finally see Guardian picking up that AWP, and I've seen scorelines being turned around a lot more drastic than this one. once he picks that weapon up. So we'll see how much of a difference it can make. Maybe they can start getting some dominance towards long, maybe start getting the picks earlier, maybe find something. Because they're focusing towards A hell of a lot here, and they are getting relatively close, but just not being able to close out these rounds. I think it was Natus saying, you know, they're sometimes NaVi are struggling to close out games, but we'll see if this comes across in the end. Currently 5-1 is a great start, though, for Flipside. Yeah,
I mean, this is solid for Flipside. They've got to be feeling pretty happy. It's been a bunch of close rounds, but they're getting the job done round after round, and they have the money to go for the full buy round after round. So that's all that matters. World Edit is finally up onto his AWP as well, so he's timed it perfectly to counter out Guardian. And while NaVi continue to apply pressure over at A long, this time putting 3 players over there. So they're like, okay, Flipside, if you guys are going to keep posting up over here, we're actually going to come in and hard counter it and teach you not to. Teach you to start playing more passively on that A site. Only issue here is that Blade, he's 1 step ahead. So no free and easy kill here for NaVi. They are getting map control, but they don't get that easy pick to start things off solid for them. And in the meantime, NaVi still working their way through drop as well and on plateau. So, excuse me, eventually they'll have to make their way back.
Yeah, well, it's caught off Guardian already, so that's going to remove that factor out of it. Someone else could pick up that up. I don't think it's completely unrecoverable, but Blade's got good control here as well. He was smoked and flashed. He got the information. He was able to see. Really nice kind of coordination between him and World Edit, but now this is the attention towards B. You've got NaVi claiming the drop zone. Flamey and C's have got some control over that, but Shara's still up on the platform. We've still got Markloff on the site. You've still got Bondic being around. If World Edit comes over, they can completely secure the connector as well. This could be a hard take from NaVi. The molly does come out, and it's actually a team molly to force Shara out of this, and he does do brilliantly off the back of it, but there comes C's. Sprays down wildly, but can't catch up the second. Even people like Shara still alive, and putting Flamey left into a 1v3 though. Position noted, 8 seconds left. He shouldn't be able to do this. 16 HP, 5 seconds, and now all they have to do is stay alive. And, well, they go above and beyond that. Bondic will find it, and again, Flipside racking up these rounds here, 6-1 now.
No problem at all, it seems, for Flipside. They're managing to maintain that man advantage throughout the entire round, basically. And that's the important bit. It starts with that kill onto Guardian. That kind of tilts NaVi, forces them to try and run in instead. And when they do, it's the perfect spray down by Shara on the plateau. That's what it's all about. So very well played there by Flipside. They're all hitting their shots as well. Unlike on Train where there were a couple lagging behind, in this case, they're pretty much neck and neck, all 5 of them. And so it seems like they're just much more comfortable on Cobblestone. This has always been a good map for Flipside. They have a very solid, established, you know, well, playbook. Basically, Bondic is famous for, or Bondic Blade rather, is famous for that. I mean, they're rudely going to cut me off here, NaVi, by running into the blender. Shara is waiting under plateau, and he's changed up his position well enough to be able to pick up a 3rd kill as well. Bondic chimes in. This should be Flamey getting overwhelmed here eventually. Yes, Markloff will find him.
This is great. I want to see NaVi doing the kind of like wall of smoke, doing that kind of like, not default, but what kind of works for them historically. But as you said, at the moment, the opening kills have been all Flipside. They've been really making it work.
Yeah, I love one little thing that's fun to note with Flipside is that they actually have a system. And this is, when was it, Cologne? The qualifiers at Cologne last year? They actually have a numbers system for their callouts. It's not, you know, they don't have names to get confused over. It's all, like, every map, every position has got a number. And so when they call out something, they're like, okay, 5, right? And so that tells you, okay, for example, somebody's up on plateau right now. You know, so it's just a little tidbit. I haven't heard of any other team actually using the system that way. So pretty cool thing to know.
That's actually sick as well, because being short syllables, I guess, makes it a lot easier as well. So actually a really cool point to note. Anyway, NaVi this round, going back to what they have to work with here, there's not a lot. They've managed to get a good foothold into this round. A little bit of a bait shot from Flamey there, but doesn't get anything out of it. Bondic has none of what he's trying to sell. And now it's down to the Tech-9s and Deagle. Now, they can do damage, but at this point, they don't really have any foothold anywhere, apart from actually them starting to get some pressure towards A, but the bomb still with seized. Means that this round isn't close to being over. Guardian's doing great deals of damage, but how much have they done here? Will Markloff realize he does? He spots out the bomb, he spots out C's, but C still fights. Does at least get 1, but still. 2 for 1 now, and Guardian left all alone.
Yeah, unfortunate turn of events there for Seized. Blade catching out Guardian, that's expected, but he was not expecting Bondic to be in drop there for Seized. So if he kills off Markloff, that's sick, right? Just drops that man. And then he gets access to the bomb. He gets access to the bomb site. He can plant the bomb, and he can wait for Guardian to go for a flank, because obviously Flipside are going to be thinking, okay, B site, we have to rotate. So that could have been sick. Instead, Bondic had to ruin it all by, you know, doubling up with his mate. And so, how dare you, Bondic, try to win this game? For shame. 8 rounds on the board for Flipside. That's quite a solid scoreline to have. And Bondic, he's just hitting shots.
This is awesome to watch. You know, it was like when you first start seeing these games and start seeing Flipside, you know, getting a good score, you're like, okay, well, how long does this last? And normally not very long. And beautiful double peek then coming out between Guardian and I believe that was Flamey. So they do at least get some control over drop, but yeah, normally these scorelines start turning around later and later and later, but it's taken a while, but NaVi are finally getting some sort of picks, finally getting some control. Flamey's let himself a little loose here. He's going to try and find Markov. He gets the perfect angle, and I don't know where Markov was looking, but in the right direction. So now left in a 3v2. NaVi still have the upper hand, but they've not been closing out these rounds, so I wouldn't write Flipside off just yet.
No, not at all. Because Blade, I mean, Shara has been definitely, showing some individual level. Every time he's over on that plateau, he seems to have an impact. So we'll see if he can continue that. Blade is going to catch out Zeus, who is lurking at A long. And so Shara has to be wondering right now. This is a very difficult situation for Flipside to find themselves in now because NaVi are playing this correctly. They've stacked up together. And so unless Flipside decide to cheat and go for a stack of their own somewhere, NaVi know they're only going to have to worry about one guy on a site. And so that's what they're thinking right now. They're like, okay, if we go in as a pair, if one of us dies, the guy gets a drop on us. Okay, you can't help that, but the second man in will find the return kill, and then we turn it into a 1v1, and we work from there. So NaVi, they've got the correct call. Now it's all about finding and figuring out where the hell Shara's coming from.
Blade's on a quick flank, so he knows what's happening here. And look at Shara. Oh, he doesn't hit the shot, but he denies the plant. This is good enough. Shara just needs to stay alive and play it calm. But no, he goes aggressive, and he gets the shot. Now, Bondik's already done the damage earlier on, but it's Blade on the rotate who does come into the matter eventually. And Flipside are not letting this drop at all. That's sick again. I just don't know what to think anymore. If this Flipside had showed up on Train, who knows what we could have seen. This is crazy.
Well, we could have seen Flipside, ruining NaVi's dreams of making it to the LAN because they're neck and neck right now. I think Lee pointed that out during the analysis phase, basically, that NaVi and G2, they're pretty much fighting over that last spot at the LAN. NaVi are just ahead, but if they lose this map, then it actually puts them on par with G2. So, bit of a scary moment here for NaVi. Every map counts. And every round counts as well. Like, even if NaVi run this back now and actually, manage a crazy comeback, it's not going to be perfect because their round difference is taking a hit at that point, and that's how ties get sorted out.
See, this is the worrying thing as well. Like, how annoyed would you be being NaVi? Like, they're a good team, they'll reset, right? But internally, you've got to be mildly annoyed if you drop a map to Flipside, and then you go into your basically the biggest game that you're going to have in the Pro League at this point to qualify for the LAN. That's a bit of awkward time. Blade, though, does manage to eat his own flash more than any of the enemy, but he's got a good deal of information. I think he's got an idea that they're taking over. But again, NaVi have been doing 3-2 splits, right? They haven't had this full 5 stack working towards A for a long time, but we'll see how effective it can be. Well, it doesn't actually catch the spot on him. Now he sees them, but it's a little too late. Already this player's starting to pour up, one being seized. That doesn't manage to hit the shot towards one and leaves him staying alive, which means there's still threats around, but NaVi do finally break through. So it's down to 3 players left for Flipside to do anything here.
And it's all on whether Markov can find a kill or not. And, well, he gets snuffed, and that should end the round. If he managed to pick up 1 kill, maybe 2, Flipside can think about actually trying to retake, trying to go in there and actually take that fight. But Markov getting snuffed immediately means that Flipside get to start thinking about saving their guns. And NaVi will pick up a 2nd round here. So could this finally be it? After, what, 9 rounds in a row, can NaVi finally turn it around and actually start getting some on the board here? Nice hunt from Edward. He picks off Shara. Will he find Bondik? He has no idea where he's getting shot from. Finally, he realizes it, but it's a little too late, and Bondik will find 1 kill onto Edward. And, well, NaVi, I don't really want to see them hunting too aggressively just because, it's like, okay, Bondik survives. That's fine and dandy. NaVi don't really have a whole lot of money to buy with, so every rifle really matters here. Flamey somehow surviving. We'll get the kill. So 2 kills here for Flipside in the end, which really isn't too bad.
No. Looking at the money as well. Flipside's money isn't perfect, bearing in mind. A couple are on 6k, so they can sort it out. But again, Shara is on 2.7, Markov on, I think it was around 3k at that point. They're fine to buy into this. It's just not ideal. They've gone for the more utility than anything. They want to keep that going here. But again, you look at NaVi, you've got the AWP coming out. You've got the Mollies finally. You have what they need to try and forge something out of this because they were struggling until this point. But that came through from pretty much a 5-man play towards A. Everyone hitting it, catching off World Edit, catching out Blade. Everything went right on that sort of take. Now, when NaVi been doing their kind of default plays, they're doing kind of like the 3-2 splits, not been going so well. So I wonder if this is again going to go to Flipside's favor, but they don't have that utility to depend upon as much as they have in the prior round. So Zeus lining up with Flamey. And a couple of the others, I think Seized is over there as well for that B-site hit. You can see them all lining up. Shara, he can sense something's coming. He's going to see these smokes going over. People are going to be calling that they're going to be going for a set play, and he's going to take the angle and take the fight. It's a 1-for-1 trade out. He spots both players and sees no bomb in sight. So Blade's going to stick around by A. And now they've got to just wait for this. The wall of smoke's up, so they don't know how much is coming that way just yet.
Yeah, Zeus is doing a decent job, but this has waited a bit too long. NaVi needed to push a little bit more aggressively in A long. And now Blade is going to be holding very close to mid. And that's going to be Flamey walking into him eventually. This has bought enough time for World Edit to rotate over, and all of that fake just comes to nothing because they take so long to actually play off of it for NaVi. Once that fake goes up and Shara spots 3 players, you would think that NaVi would want to pounce on A at that point because they might. It's not about like getting guys to fully rotate off the A site. It's just about catching them just out of position and where they hesitate enough, right? They've taken a couple steps out. They're a little bit farther out into the open than they would like to be, and boom, you hit and you get the kills for you get the kills easily. Well, NaVi this time around is going to come back to bite them. 10 seconds left to get this bomb plant. And it will never happen. World Edit.
And I have to highlight something about him. At the start of this round, he was the second man back towards A, so Blade stuck it out on A. He was the one man kind of like who didn't fully rotate off. He was just like, all right, just in case. And then World Edit came back around. And the one thing I really liked was the chance that Guardian had been playing up long is pretty high. He's been doing it quite consistently. And World Edit, rather than dropping onto the little balcony as he comes through on the rotate, he's like went straight down and then took the fight on the player who'd pushed out, rather than maybe taking the risky chance of trying to hit people who hadn't pushed up A long yet. Just really nicely done from World Edit. He's reading into his opponents absolutely perfectly with the AWP. So at the moment, 10-2. This is such a dominating scoreline for Flipside. You know, considering this is arguably sometimes a T-sided map, just because it's so hard to get information or aggression going on that CT side, this is huge. So again, that kind of like 4 pistol, 1 rifle buy-up from NaVi already sees being a little worse for wear. Blade being pressured, but backs away well. Resets the fight a little. Well, it spots out the 2 crossing in towards that lower side. So now we know that pretty much Blade is surrounded. If he does any damage and even gets players down, that's great. But the information now noted, World needs to respond accordingly, and he is. Backing a little bit down towards that APC. Waiting to see what NaVi bring now.
He's in position. Flash is completely worthless. He'll pick up the first kill on Guardian, who bravely charges around the corner, hoping to create some space for his teammates to move in, get some trade frags. Edward has worked his way up onto that site. Point blank, no scope from World Edit, though, just completely annihilates him. And it's all on Zeus now in a 1v3 with World Edit still alive on the site. Zeus is about to get caught in the Triangle of Doom. And a very clean, solid round actually coming out here from Flipside. We're not used to seeing NaVi struggle this much on their T side of Cobble.
Yeah, it's weird, if I'm honest. NaVi...
It is a little bizarre, isn't it?
They're getting outdone. All right, just for Anders, Markelov has picked up the AWP. That's it. For no other reason, he's bottom fragging right now. This could be his chance at redemption. And NaVi have solid to work with. They're kind of just taking their time lingering around spawn, having a chat.
Just for Anders, I hope that somebody running Tech9's Markelov in the face right now.
You're a cruel man, you know that. It's like, every now and then, even I get excited seeing Markelov, and then I see the name of what he called his Dragon Lore, which makes me kind of giggle also, but...
What does he call it? What? Dragon Whore. I like it.
It's just beautiful. There's something special about Markelov, you know?
Well done. I mean, well, you know, CIS guys, they usually come up with pretty creative names.
Definitely do. All right, but the interesting thing here is that, assuming they're not going for anything crazy, NaVi, we actually might see Markelov having to be pressured here. So Guardian's kind of like, you know, waving the ban like, guys, we're here, I promise you. We're definitely not going towards drop or splitting towards B at all.
Oh,
and now here we go. The flying Tech9 may happen, just to appease you.
All I can think now is we definitely don't want to know what Markelov did to get that Dragon Lore. Because those don't come cheap. So, bad advantage for Flipside now in the hold, and NaVi. We'll see if Markelov, you know.
Come on. Here we go. The bomb's going towards him. Oh. All right.
And this is the second shot. He will not. He's going for the jump shot. How sick would that be? Go for it. Do it again, Markelov. Do it again. You want to hit this jump shot. Go full simple. It's not going to happen. Blade will find the kill first.
I was like, woo, but no. Yeah, so again, hopes and dreams not quite coming true just yet, but 12-2, I'm sure they're extremely happy with this. NaVi, though, will be pretty frustrated. This should have been their comfortable, like, you know, 2-game pickup, basically, right? You pick up the 2 maps that you're playing, and, you know, then you look at your next game coming up, which is the big one. That's the one to make sure you secure yourself to the offline finals. Now, if you get a 1-for-1, it leaves a couple of question marks. Then you really have to win that second game. Then, you know, it makes pressure build up, and G2 aren't exactly awful right now, but again, coming back to that in a moment.
they're pretty awful right now.
Leave. You know, they're not on form, let's say. A little off. Oh.
Hi, friend.
What is going on? See, I don't understand what is going on in this game. Flipside are up 12-2, and C's just completely ignoring the idea, the possibility that someone could be there. But all right, NaVi have a great shot towards A, and that's what it can pull off some magic with 1 HP.
Let's see. I mean, he's got the AWP. Not going to hit it, though. Just completely caught sleeping. And Zeus and Shara going to run into each other. Guardian lands that kill, and Zeus will pick off Markov. So, well done by NaVi. They actually managed to, you know, extend their suffering just a little bit. 12-3. Flipside, a fantastic scoreline for them at the end of that first half. I mean, it's very rare these days. Like, that was like a throwback to 1.6 Cobble, where it's just like, we're going to completely shut you out of this map. Only problem is this is more of a T-sided map now. And so Flipside, if they can play that well on the CT side, makes you kind of hopeful to see, you know, what they actually have in store for us here on their T side.
And the thing is that normally for me, Flipside are quite an impressive T-sided team on this. I think the CT side is more than adequate, but I've never seen Water being that integral, nor them having so much of a dominant lockdown. I really haven't seen them being that dominant before. But the T-side's always really nicely balanced. You can see the tactical element really coming through, how they pull people on the rotates constantly. You know, that was just a really nice factor of Flipside. So I don't think they can quite abuse NaVi like they do abuse other opponents sometimes. But still, if they have a scoreline like this, they shouldn't drop it.
No, this is where Blade has to come up with, like, okay, this is the strat that we've been saving, we've been working on. I don't know, in Prax recently, you know, they Flipside certainly have a lot of time for Prax, so they should be able to, you know, come up with something clever here to catch NaVi off guard. Because I think NaVi are just, you know, are they going to be ready? Because they don't really play against Flipside that often. Are they going to be ready for anything? You know, are they going to be fully aware of what Flipside are doing these days? I think that NaVi are going to be relying more on their individual skill with the headshots here to, you know, put a stop to whatever Flipside decide to throw at them. So, element of surprise versus raw aim. We'll see which one actually works here.
And the thing is that if you think about it, like in Flipside's best favor as well on this, coming into the pistol, let's say they pick it up, which I wouldn't say is too surprising on the T side here. You know, it can happen pretty regularly. You won't see Guardian with an AWP at best for NaVi till quite deep into this game, and they don't have that many rounds to play with at this point.
Because they force a lot.
Yes.
Which always gives me a big headache.
Yes. It's a really illogical thing when you think how integral Guardian can be with that AWP, but at least specifically for this team, it's you know, some teams it works well just fine. You know, some teams don't, you know, need that element as much, but we'll see if that comes around to bite them in the arse in this one, because we are in pretty much underway in the second half now. 3-12. Flipside are up massively on NaVi, and Flipside have to ideally pick up this pistol to keep that momentum going, and that is the perfect start. There
we go. No fear at all. And it's nothing really special that we're seeing from Flipside. That's just the no fear tactic. Shara hits the headshot onto Edward, and Zeus, he will hold his own, actually. Flamey's there to shut down Shara. And so that all-out aggression from Flipside actually comes back to bite them a little bit, simply because they were all split up in ones. Rather than rushing as a unit with the Glocks together to trade frag, they were just looking for duels. And versus USPs and P2000s, where a one-shot headshot can happen, sometimes that's going to come back to bite you.
Bit of a shame there, especially after what a great start it was as well. That first kill just coming in, smashing him down. Not ideal, but still, can NaVi build back now, step by step? Shouldn't happen. These sort of scorelines, it shouldn't happen, but it's not impossible. It has happened before, but Shara with the UMP buy? Okay.
NaVi about to get their grind on, is that what you're saying?
I wouldn't be surprised. Honestly, it's one of those games where like I wouldn't even be shocked by it at this point.
Well, they got lumps, so I mean, I'm sure it's going to be fun.
Oh yeah.
It's going to be a good time. I mean, slowly but surely, NaVi. We'll see. What is the setup here for Flipside, though? Because this is a force from them. No bomb plant. But they only have the single flash on Markov. So really, they're all just kind of spread out, doing exactly this. Exactly what Blade is hoping. He's looking for somebody who gets out of position, maybe hits a headshot, maybe, you know, just to apply a little bit more pressure on NaVi. But eventually, Flipside, when this ticks down to probably around like 45 seconds, they're going to start deciding to group up and go. Because that bomb is still waiting back in the halls right now. It's fun. The pistols are so good in CSGO that you can just treat even like these rounds as regular default rounds. Because you can still find headshots with them, the Deagle these days. Look at that. Blade Zeus survives on 1 HP.
That's ridiculous. It's going to keep this round interesting, considering Chara's still got the UMP as well. We've got a lot to work with here for Flipside, and while it's found Guardian, and that's not even the player who's on 1 HP. That's what you were talking about. This is how deadly these pistols can be, and there we go. There's a follow-up. Well done, it is doing some serious damage here. He can't quite do enough, but still, great deals of money being gathered. Markelov's still in this in a 1v2. He doesn't have the perfect weapon, but he does have armor here. 20 seconds, though. Bomb is pretty much out of reach, but if he can get these 2 kills, this could be pretty exciting. And Edward's chasing this. They don't know the bomb's not there.
They have no idea where the bomb is. And Markelov either needs to make the decision to hold on to this rifle or die, because he needs that money at the end. So that's basically what it boiled down to for him. With 10 seconds left, man. Yeah, they just ran that clock down so far. But yeah, you can see those, just the Deagles, man. It's been crazy. Malmo, we just saw insane rounds from like Nico and Lekro. Like those guys just hitting insane shots at the Deag. It seems like the Deagle these days is just so good. And guys are getting so good at hitting those one-taps. Where it almost makes you wonder, it's like, how many hours have you spent on a headshot-only DM server with a Deagle, right? Just practicing the Deag.
Hey, if it works out, that's the thing. It's how much is it? Is it 700
or 500 these days. What is it?
I actually don't know.
There's a nerve. No, it's got to be 700. It's 700.
It has to be 700. Otherwise, it'd be crazy, I guess, at this point. But yeah, I love the fact that it's gone from completely unused to being like an irregularity, maybe like a player-specific thing. Like some players may pick it up every now and then.
Nico.
Yeah, and then now everyone's like, actually, this is pretty viable. Let me start putting some hours into it. You're seeing more and more people going for it. I absolutely love it. It's good to see development throughout it. So, again, it did well, but it's not done well enough. We've got NaVi now building relatively well back into this, but what buy do they go for here? They can't just stick on these SMGs. Seized is going to, okay. Zeus has got a UMP. For the AWP on Guardian, and I guess depending on where they play, if they just stack out drop with these, that's perfectly fine, but it's still a little dangerous. You've got all rifles coming in for Flipside, and you can't really afford to be dropping rounds.
No, exactly. Because they're going to have the edge. I mean, the UMP isn't bad, and Guardian with the aggressive peek. That was very nicely done by him. Channeling his, inner N1, who's ridiculous when he gets up onto that plateau and goes for the aggressive peeks. But seized with the MP9 in this position, it isn't a poor choice, because they are going to come at you close range, right? So if they come around that corner and you're there and waiting for them, it can work out just fine. If you over peek, you will get punished, however. And Guardian, sick shot from Blade, catches him out in connector. Edward, he will chase, but he will die, and it will come down to Flamey and Zeus, and now just Zeus. Zeus, the only man alive here over on A. But that bomb with Flamey dead on the B site, Flipside know to take it over there and get that free bomb.
Yep. And there we go. Clean round, recovered AWP, and Flipside keep 5 alive. Keep a fair bit of utility with them as well. This is going to keep their economy really building well, considering how it was pretty much on a knife's edge for a bit. Now, NaVi can buy back into this. They still had the SMGs. They can weather the storm a little here. Guardian should be able to get an AWP drop for him, I believe. So it's not the end of the world. Yeah, he's got an AWP there. So you can have the Mag 7 with Zeus. I actually don't mind Edward playing it sometimes, but by platform we've seen how well he can do it. Pasha as well is a big advocate of doing it. But again, this is getting to do or die territory. This is starting to get a little bit worrying, and Flipside know this as well. They're starting to really start tightening that noose as well. This is going to get very interesting now.
Yeah. They've got their foot on Navi's back. They're giving a good heave. And, well, NaVi right now, they're struggling. Their arms are flailing. But whether they're going to be able to fight their way out or not, that's yet to be seen. I mean, Guardian does have the AWP, but he's been very quiet with it. He's hardly had it in the first, half to speak of. And now on the CT side, that's usually when you see Guardian come start to shine with that AWP, but we haven't really seen too much from him. He didn't really have an impact in the last round at all. This time, however, now that they have control of drop, this could be interesting. If Markelov gets a little too greedy here and goes for the peak. What a shot from Markelov, though.
That's game-changing. That sort of play can open up avenues. They can now maybe think about, do we want to exploit A? Do we want to maybe insinuate we're doing that? Now we've started to get control, and now that's allowed World Edit to step out by drop, find Flamey, leaving Edward the last standing bastion of hope on this B site. Zeus is still hesitant. He's still over by A, and that Mag 7 isn't bad when you're holding an angle, but when you're playing retake, it's definitely not fun, and he's desperately trying to get those hands grabbing onto any gun that he could, and he's going to make a bit of a dash for it. That site is lost, and that was just a brilliant take. Markelov landing that shot. You had Bondic smashing it, World Edit as well, just powering out towards Flamey. This is just good CS from Flipside. This is a great team that we don't often see playing to this level.
No, they've clearly got their system figured out for Cobblestone. It's a totally different beast from Train, and that might be that they were cold on Train, that they just weren't able to warm up fast enough and get that engine going. But right now it's NaVi. This can happen as well, where NaVi will sometimes underestimate opponents, especially with a decisive win like that on Train. They might have underestimated them a little bit coming out to Cobblestone, where they should be feeling pretty comfortable as well, NaVi. And then by the time you realize, wait a second, we've kind of lost control of the situation here, it can be too late. And it's so hard to get to reverse that and get tied up with Flipside, who are sitting on 14 rounds now. And this is where NaVi have to just go for the force buy. They have nothing in the bank. So it's going to come down to some economic gymnastics here to see what they can get. It's going to be through 2 pistols, the shotgun on Zeus. He just barely had enough for, well, for the Kevlar shotgun, and then obviously the 2 guns that were saved from the last round. But this is it. Can Flipside, can they maintain their focus?
This could be fun as well. They've left Guardian the only man on A pretty much. They've tried to put all of their kind of like, I guess, weaker pieces to one part of the puzzle to try and support the rest. And then Guardian, the one man who can kind of play to his own, over by A. You got to solo this one out. But look at this Flipside, maybe reading into that, maybe aware this could be a factor. Ooh, the step comes out. You're not going to get Guardian done by that sort of play. So Shara is going to be removed from the server, and now Flipside maybe wanting more. But Markloff is slowing down the rotate. He's going to be playing that real noose control, and he's doing it fairly well, but Edward will power through. Now, Flipside having to play with a disadvantage is going to be an issue. Can they try and drag these guys around the map? Can they make this a real problem? I'm going to have to wait and see.
It's the damage that's dealt. Look at that. Zeus so low, Edward as well. All 3 members for Flipside still at full HP. It's Guardian who can make a difference here. And he just barely peeks too late. Oh, and he goes off the angle as well once Blade comes back through. So no luck for Guardian, but he will be scoped up on World Edit when he comes around that corner. Not sure if he spotted the second man behind World Edit, but Bondic not going to waste any time. He gets that smoke down, and Guardian just having that huge impact that we were looking for earlier on here in the half. Now that he actually has that op, he gets 3 kills with it, and it's all on Bondic here to come up with something magical because he's stuck in a bit of a tight spot. 30 seconds left. Flamey still has full HP. If he can catch out Flamey, that would be big, but he doesn't spot his ankles beneath the truck. So he's going to get that nade dead on. And, well, he has no idea that there's a man waiting at the back of the site, and that's the difference maker. Edward peeks out at the appropriate time and picks up the 7th round for NaVi.
7-14, and this is what we said, you know, just that AWP in the hands of Guardian can play such a defining factor, right? It changes everything for NaVi, and again, these buys are not nice for NaVi, though. They're still struggling for money, and they can't really go without purchasing themselves into these rounds. They have to keep doing it. They can't really stand up to Flipside if they get another round on the board. And Flipside's money is pretty robust here still. They've got the full buy that they need. They're perfectly fine to go through this round, but Shara may be looking to pick up the pace here, going for the early nade. Turns in case there was a flash. Actually, a smoke coming out. Nade follows. Now has to hit the brakes. So, again, 4-1 play for NaVi. Boosting Zeus up towards that kind of, I guess, the quad box, if you want to call it that. Yeah. On towards B. So he's got a nice little view here. As long as someone holds his drop room, he's pretty safe at this point. He can play it just perfectly. So Flamey going to be in charge of that role. Last time, I think it was Flamey last time, was it? Who kind of got outdone with the SMG? I don't think it was. I think it was C's playing it, but still.
It's fitting on this day of all days to learn that Zeus is a tree hugger. Look at that. Just hugging that tree, Zeus. Hug it all day. All right. Well, they're still looking around here on the map flip side. Eventually, they'll find an opening. Because right now, they have given up drop NaVi, so they're taking a little bit more of a passive stance. Seized is going to cheat his way over to the B site. They're going to fully trust in Guardian to hold on to the A site here. In the meantime, Flipside, they're gearing up to head out towards B. We'll see if Markloff can manage the same big kill, high-impact frag that he got on Guardian that last time. He goes charging in first. He's going to open things up, and he will get completely shut down by Edward. And now it's up to Shara here to find somebody just stepping out of line, but Guardian is going to find the lurk on Blade, and it's just completely falling apart here for Flipside. Everything coming apart in the end. Boop from Bondic, 1v1. Oh, how did this get so close?
Great question, but I think we're going to find out how close. Guardian not having any of it. Finally keeps this one in check. And you've got to feel for Markloff in a way, because he played the reload perfectly on Flamey then. He waited until he knew that he was going to have to reload, but then Edward instantly got himself there. So it was just, you know, you got to feel a little bit for that. It's like Markloff played it perfectly to what he'd, you know, noted and seen and heard. Didn't matter, but a close round again, though, so neither side can be completely flush at this point, nor completely happy, I can imagine, and Flipside going to start getting worried. This is where you get a little bit of a, you know, voice in the back of your head going, we're not going to choke on this, are we? Like, we're fine, fine, we've got loads of rounds, it's fine. Do start getting a little worried when you start seeing NaVi closing out these rounds, even if they are close.
Flipside are not allowed to lose 8 rounds in a row to NaVi. Let's put it that way. So what's going to happen now, Pansy?
Pansy. It's all a scheme.
We're going to go into overtime.
Oh, you believe in overtime, maybe?
That's what's going to happen. And then NaVi will win in overtime.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Come on, Flipside. I believe that you can get 2 rounds. You've managed 14. You can make 2 happen.
And they have a real chance if they can just win here. World Edit's going to catch C's. Like, he was just like a ninja at his back. C's never knew what hit him. They have a chance because NaVi, because these rounds have been so close, NaVi still don't have a big bank. So if Flipside could just win this round, that puts NaVi in the hole economically, and that really sets it up nicely for Flipside to close it out. So let's see. I mean, are they capable?
Flipside putting so much strain towards drop, and this time it works out well. Zeus gets swept aside by Markloff, but there's still the raid boss, and he's still hungry. Guardian's still lurking in the background. He's not even come over to the site yet, but he will need to soon, as it's only Edward and Guardian left standing. And it's actually starting to work out, but Edward's done well. He's cut off the platform approach now. The last 3 players are all in drop, and look at this. They're making a mad dash over towards A, but can Guardian catch any of these guys in the heels? Waits that 3 seconds, pulls the trigger. No one falls this time.
Beautifully done. I was about to say, you know, Shara stepping out, taking that fight with Edward, that was a bit of a reach, considering his teammates hadn't committed to help him yet from drop. But then a great reaction off of this from Flipside. Maybe they were close enough to hear Guardian rotate in, and so they were able to play off that information that they obviously know where Edward's going. Now that they'd figured out where Guardian was playing from, it all sorts itself out. Easy plant on the A site for them. And, well, because of the economy for NaVi, they have to save these guns. We'll see. Flipside don't exactly have stellar money themselves, so they shouldn't be aggressively hunting too much. Just leave it be. Make sure that you keep all 3 alive. You can drop 2 AKs for your teammates, get a full buy going into it, and just do what you did this round once again. So Guardian's been spotted, so they know where he's playing from right now. Really don't want to see Blade overstep himself, though. Like, no reason to throw away your guns. Just everybody play nice. It's tea time. Go have a cuppa, and then come back into it.
You could do with a cup of tea.
I could too as well, actually.
Absolutely lovely. Producer Matt, do you wanna hook us up? You're not busy, right? Come on.
Yeah,
No.
it's a bit of a stretch.
15 to 8, though, as you said, you know, dropping out, just kind of keeping Flipside with enough money. Now they have that full utility as well, so really quite fortunate they did keep everyone there. No one went hunting too far. And look at NaVi. Caesar's Soddle to work with. You got, you know, not the ideal weapon with Zeus either, so they're going to try and be a little aggressive with this. Try and make something happen, but look at that read. Really nice. Again, a little bit of a slower posture from Flipside, but a one-way smoke now-ish for CT. You can see a little bit more. And I wonder if anyone's going to dare go up for that. Oh, no.
Ooh, buddy. That is a thing of beauty, Markaloff. He knows what's up. He knows what C's is playing at. And Shara there to take out Guardian as well, so that's the op down. NaVi, they're crumbling. 3 players left alive here for Flipside to beat up on. And well, Edward, he will stand his ground. He picks up the first man, takes out Markaloff, knows that there's still bullets left, and he can turn this around, goes for the spray through the smoke and takes out Bonding. Good to get the 3rd as well, but he's not going to manage it. And in the meantime, World Edit will find Zeus. So it's all on Flamey, the young gun, 1v3.
Well, you're going to try and set the world on fire with shots like that. Shara gets swept aside, but Flamey is left on a measly 4 HP. And wow, there's so much to play for here. Flipside, they might be condemning NaVi to a very tough couple of games coming up here. What a way to do it. Flamey going to do everything he can, though. Blade and World Edit going to work towards a site. World Edit does already consider the positioning of Flamey, gets swept aside. And there you have it. Flipside picking up Cobblestone. Not what anyone really predicted coming to this. We said there was possibility